Hey everybody, this is AI with Dr. Craig Hansen, and I'm delighted to have Nadeem with us, who's the founder of TeachAid.ca, a great AI platform for educators for developing teaching, learning, and assessment materials and resources. Hi Nadeem.
Hi, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our honor and our pleasure. Why don't you tell us about your background and how you came to be the founder of TeachAid?
Yeah, sure. We've been working on TeachAid for just over a year now, really when that AI inflection point hit with the new models coming out and the APIs opening up. But prior to that, I was working on a company called Creation Camp. And what Creation Camp was a program to teach students how to create. So what we did was partner with school districts and we taught them how to do game development, game design, app development, digital content creation, so podcasts, blog, YouTube videos, and all those types of things. And what we were actually doing was aligning it to the math, science, and language curriculum so that teachers could actually teach their curriculum while they really engage their students in these new forms of technology. And we were really helping teachers with that because it was hard for them to teach coding. It was hard for them to teach these new technologies. We really got into the ability of helping teachers in a way where they could bring new mediums to the curriculum and new pedagogies to the curriculum. And then kind of teaching came out of that. So we were able to actually expand on that with AI.
And you're a technical person by trade?
No. So I was the founder of Creation Camp, and that's kind of the nice thing about TeachAid. When we were working on Creation Camp, it was really all in person. So we were actually sending people into the classroom or doing video calls, much like this, to teach the students. What we actually wanted to do was turn it into software. So we built out a little bit of a team around that. But yeah, I did spend my career in ed tech. So prior to Creation Camp, I was at a company called Prodigy Education. There I was product manager, so more so working on the business side and education side and product side of things, but no actual technical background.
Okay. But something inspired you and you saw the need and the opportunity to create TeachAid. So what was that?
Yeah, so when we were at Creation Camp, we were running a ton of different experiments to be able to help out teachers. And the last one we were actually running was called a teacher transition program. So we noticed that teachers' work-to-life balance and the industry itself wasn't the greatest experience for teachers, at least in North America. 60% turnover in the first 5 years.
Wow.
It might be more of a North America thing, but we were trying to help with that. So what we were doing was helping teachers actually transition from teaching into technology so that they could have more work-life balance, possibly work from home, higher salaries and wages. And we were just a couple of months into that and kicking that off when the AI inflection point hit. And then we realized, well, we don't actually need to help them transition to a different industry. What we can actually do is solve some of the pain points and give them the tools to become a teacher for the reason that they joined teaching in the first place, being able to create great student experiences and really impact students. So we quickly pivoted to that.
Love it. That's what I hear when I'm doing professional learning and development in schools is about the burden of the administration time that always overtakes personal time, planning, reporting, assessing, giving feedback to students, developing materials that can be used in the classroom. I think this is a really great opportunity to allow teachers to do what they're best at, which is being directly working with students to apply new learning, apply new knowledge, apply new skills in novel ways and try to create real solutions to problems that are out there. And this allows us to do that, leveraging AI. So why don't you tell us about TeachAid? And I've had the privilege of working with you and communicating with you about some of the feedback from teachers in New Zealand. So tell us about the core components of TeachAid.
Yeah. So when we first started TeachAid again, it was a teacher solution to solve the pain points they were facing. But we did a huge amount of interviews and customer discovery with teachers and district leaders and even students. And what we figured out is it's actually a three-pronged problem. So at the teacher level, there's everything going on with actually creating materials, making them engaging for students, differentiating them. But at the student level, at least in North America, K to 12, 50% of students are disengaged. So with what we were doing at Creation Camp, and a lot of the team again came from Prodigy Education. What we were working on was how do we create great student experiences. And one of our goals at Creation Camp was to create the best educational experience a student would have all year long in the classroom. We started to think about how can we build that into TeachAid, how can we build game-based learning, collaborative learning, and really build out those great experiences for students and get them more engaged. And on top of that, build it to the right learning styles and levels and inquiry-based learning and all that. So that's kind of the second prong. But the third prong is we also noticed that districts and schools have a problem with implementing contemporary pedagogy. So if you want to roll out UDL or project-based learning or any kind of equity-based pedagogy, it's a really big task on the district to be able to do all the professional development around that, build all the materials around that, train the teachers, get teachers to actually administer it and teach it in the way kind of prescribed. We actually started to build TeachAid around that. So what TeachAid is today is a complete curriculum and pedagogy solution. So we can upload all the curriculum and standards you're using, whether that be the state standards, province standards, or even just standards you've created on your own at an independent school, and upload and inject all the pedagogy you'd like to use. And that kind of flows from the district down to the teacher. And then at the end, it creates this experience around engagement and what their inquiry and learning levels are.
Yeah, I think it's really clear there's two types of platforms. There's the productivity tools that are out there with generative AI, and then there's the ones that are driven by curriculum with the opportunity to drop in the pedagogy, the frameworks that are used. In New Zealand, we might call that the kaupapa, the foundation under which everything else is driven. And so it might be a value set or a strategic plan that schools have. I really like that there is that unit planning process. Starts with the curriculum. You can drop in there and include the pedagogical framework or the kaupapa, and then that flows through everything right down to the development of resources in the classroom. And that's a really nice flow. So where do you see TeachAid going from here? What's the next stage? Can you give us some secrets?
Yeah. So I guess there's two different main things we'll be working on throughout the summer. One is, again, that student interactive platform. So again, building out the games and collaborative learning to create the great student experience.
Hmm.
But we're also building out a lot of curriculum features and pedagogy features for the district. So over the summer, at least in North America, districts will be able to start planning for the new year and building out their scope and sequence and long range plans that they can hand off to teachers. And there's this really powerful feature within TeachAid where you can actually share everything you've created. So as a curriculum writer, you're able to actually create a unit based on the pedagogy and the standards that you want to kind of spiral through, and then you can hand it off to a group of teachers, and then every teacher can differentiate that for their classroom and for each of their students. So again, it kind of trickles down throughout the district and school. But I guess more than the pedagogy, something else we're working on is really localizing. So if you are, let's say, in a certain region in New Zealand and you want to talk about the natural habitats and geography and history of that very, very local community, you're able to upload that and speak to those and upload the articles and history and all the natural habitats. So that you're actually speaking to something very local and community engaged rather than something at the macro, maybe at the New Zealand level or even at the North American level.
I think as New Zealanders, we pride ourselves on being able to localize the curriculum, personalize it for students, and really recognize the unique history, and particularly our native people, the Maori people here in New Zealand, and recognize their history as we know it, and find the truth in that, and the importance of local landmarks as well, and how that the real history behind the local landmarks and how they came to be really informs the local curriculum and provides a rich context for learning as well. Something that you've been very open with as we've been communicating over the last few months is actually including syllabus documents and curriculum materials into it. And I like that as part of TeachAid, there's a button to push and you can include or upload or discuss and request to have particular standards or curriculum materials included in TeachAid to help driving the teaching and learning process. So that's a unique feature. And we've really benefited from that in New Zealand and the excitement. Even yesterday, when I was running a professional learning opportunity, teachers were very excited about that opportunity. So what's the
So glad to
best
hear.
way, Nadeem, for someone to reach out to you to give TeachAid a try or engage with you and give you some feedback?
Yeah, there is a button to give feedback right on the application. Maybe in the notes for this interview, I can kind of just include a link that if teachers or districts want to book a call with me, I'd be happy to jump on and give an onboarding session or even professional development on different ways you can kind of use the tool. And maybe yeah, we can include my email in there too.
Fantastic. I'll make sure that the link to TeachAid and booking is with the notes on YouTube, and I'll put this on LinkedIn as well. Nadeem, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap it up about TeachAid and where it's going and the opportunities that it presents?
No, I think we kind of covered it. Was there anything that you wanted to go over? Anything we kind of missed?
No, I think that it's a really unique opportunity for educators to directly communicate to the founder of a new platform, and the opportunity also, like the project we have in New Zealand with Kohimarama School and the RTLB cluster in Pukekohe and the schools in the local Franklin area, creating a customized white labeled version of TeachAid, which is unique for their school, and being able to upload those documents and the teachers can access it and it's branded just like their school. And everything is driven inside TeachAid by their school documents. I really like that as a unique opportunity for our schools to do. And I do want to highlight that if there's other schools that wish to partner with you with what you're doing with TeachAid to create their white label version and have their own document, their own kaupapa, their own values, their own pedagogical framework drive the planning of teaching, learning, and assessment materials. I think that's a great opportunity. We don't normally get to speak to a founder. I don't think any teachers were talking to Bill Gates at the start of Microsoft. So thanks for doing this for us.
No, thanks a lot for having me, and I really appreciate it.